Didi, to quote yourself, we are in a very, very serious situation. Now, just give us a brief summary of the status quo. Where are we now?
As explained previously, presently we have, as of this morning, managed to breach the river mouth. So we have had a little bit of a success there. The high tide has subsided, so we're just trying to allow about 2 hours of flow, and then we're going to take the readings again to see what is the salt content.
So the river is flowing now?
Yes, the river is flowing. And then the second part of that, we are trying to finalize the construction of that berm upstream to prevent the salt water from pushing up, so that whatever water we are getting from the top, we will be able to extract that won't have a salt content in it. But in about 2 hours' time, we will be taking readings, and then we'll know exactly where we are on.
Okay, now by the time this is broadcast, it will be way beyond that point. Now, I know it's difficult, but is there any, can you give us a ballpark figure on how long you think, if things go well, how long it's going to take to get the water back to normal?
If things go according to plan, and if we kind of get the success we're expecting with these two initiatives, then we're expecting by the weekend to have had the salty water in the river flow downstream and then have the normal water. But then also we did say it'll take about 2 weeks to neutralize, but it won't be 2 weeks for everybody. Depending on where you live and whether you're high-lying, low-lying, you'll find that the water will be returning to normal. So the main agenda is to get that salty water out, so that at the abstraction point we can have water that doesn't have the kind of conductivity that we are having right now.
Didi, now the obvious question is, and I think you asked it of your own people as well, couldn't you have seen this coming?
Yeah, I think, Johan, if you'll remember, we did go out, and I think you also did an interview, and we did advise the people that there is a drought situation. We need to be using less water. Now, in our storage dam, we keep about 20 days supply. So around about the 12th of October, we started having the salt content. So we then reverted to using the water in our storage dam, hoping that rains will come, and further that we'd be able to breach the river mouth, because that's what we normally do. Breach the river mouth, then it flows down, the salt content gets out, and we're able to do it. But unfortunately, this time, we were unable to breach the river mouth. We tried 3 times and it closed. And because of that, the water started accumulating, and we found that the conductivity levels were so high. We obviously, in terms of the normal process, is expected to breach the river and the water would have flowed and then we would have got back to normal. But that didn't happen, and that's what caused the problem for us. We did foresee that we were going to have a drought, and we're trying to put measures in place. But we didn't know that, the natural effect will be so drastic that it will prevent us from ensuring that the water flows through.
Isn't it unusual that we're in a serious drought situation and we haven't had any restrictions yet? Sort of from good to bad in one fell swoop.
Yeah. I think we have restrictions both in the north and southwest, which is the Harding areas and the Pakreni areas. In the south, we did, in Potchefstroom and surrounds, we did go out and advise people that we need to conserve water. But like we are saying, there is a water supply. The only issue is that water supply has a very high salt content. That is because the river mouth is closing and we are unable to breach the river mouth. And because there's a very slow flow coming from upstream, it's not able to wash through. But you are correct, we'll have to now look at very serious, very drastic drought relief measures and restrictions.
And Didi, when one looks at the storage capacity, I mean, when you look back, it's now easy with hindsight, but shouldn't there have been more storage dams, more storage capacity? Wasn't there bad planning in the past?
Johan, I won't say bad planning, because I think nobody expected the effects of this drought to be what it is. Now, this drought is being referred to as the El Nino effect, if you understand. And they didn't expect it to be so bad. In fact, right now, they're only saying that we should look at rains probably in January to March. And that's very serious for us. So this climate change is real, and now we're feeling the severe effects of it. We have planned a new storage dam on the Mzimkhulu. We are now busy engaging Water Affairs to try and see if they can bring that forward so that we can put that. That's why I'm saying the present storage dam we have a 20 days capacity. And for all the years, we have survived with that. It's just unfortunate that there are many events that have overtaken us, but I think the main one is the effects of this climate change that we are very serious.
But isn't it like also like with the sewage? that new developments were okayed and signed off without provision being made for extra sewage capacity and purifying capacity, and also they're now with water storage and water supply.
Yeah, that's correct, Johan. But like I explained in one of your previous interviews, it's a balancing act. You have a certain amount of money. You have to then divide that between water, sanitation, and your other infrastructure that you need. Then you need to decide whether you use that money to refurbish existing infrastructure, upgrade existing infrastructure, or whether you take that and provide water schemes and sanitations in areas that didn't have it before. So you'll find that that's the kind of balancing act you have to do, and those are the decisions you have to make. But like you said, in hindsight, we have all the answers. But at a point in time when decisions need to be made, sometimes we don't really appreciate the consequences going forward of that. But I think, this has taught us some lessons, and I hope we've learned for that and that we plan. That's why in this instance, we're not only looking at a short-term solution. We are looking at a short, medium, and a long-term.
And what do you say to accusations on Facebook and the other social media? I saw one today where quite a few people say that you and the mayor are hiding behind the statement that it's an act of God. In the meantime, it's your fault and that you guys should be fired.
Yeah, I've never made the statement that it's an act of God. Mayor might have made that statement, but I don't think it's a question of Mayor hiding behind it or the MM hiding behind it. I think we've been open and transparent in terms of what the issues were. It's just a natural phenomenon that the root cause of this is that there is no water, okay? Now, to respond to that, I understand people are emotional and you can live without electricity, but it's hard to live without water. And people will have these outbursts. But what is the root cause of this situation? That there is no water because there is no rain. So even if you have a storage dam, you would have used that storage dam, and then where would you have got no water? The problem is that there is no rain. And I think sometimes when we make these emotional outbursts, they're not factually informed, because what is the situation in the entire country right now? What have we been seeing on television over the last few days? This is a phenomenon throughout the country. So if the mayor and the MM are hiding behind this, then what about the other areas? Are they also hiding behind this? It's easy to say all these things, but at the end of the day, you've got to make decisions and see how we're going to go forward. And I'm convinced that we did what we reasonably were expected to do. It's only now that when you have this crisis, you realize your shortcomings and you have to try and better it. But I think largely the majority of the community understand. We have met with many community members, they understand. I think it's just some of our customers who obviously, because of the hardships that they are reacting to, and it's understandable. And we're saying that we are not perfect. We might have had shortcomings, but I don't think this was deliberate and it was an act of negligence.
Are you sure that your communication from UGU is up and running? Because 2 days ago, there was a rumor that you were would be shutting down, the supply for 3 days from 1 a.m. in the morning or something like that.
Yeah, we saw that SMS that was doing its round, that we were shutting the system one said for 3 days, one was saying for 7 days, one was saying for 10 days. There was all kinds of things. And we were communicating. We had met with you guys on Monday. We gave you that. And there was absolutely no truth in that rumor. And we have a rapid response meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning. We have one at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and we issue official statements. No such matter was ever discussed, so I wouldn't be able to understand. But that is not the only one. There's many, many others that have come aboard.
Where do you think they come from?
Johan, I wouldn't really know. I think only those who are peddling this kind of rumors and whatever mischief that they want to be up to will know where it's coming from and why they're doing what they're doing. So all we are going there is to try and reassure the communities that, listen, we're trying our best and we're trying to do what we have to do. And I think we'll leave it at that, because I don't think we want to expend our energies now in engaging these prophets of doom and gloom. There are a lot of community members who have come forward with a lot of goodwill, assistance. We want to embrace those community members, those organizations, and move forward on this matter.
Finally, the holiday season that's upon us? How do you think that's going to go?
Yeah, I am very concerned about the holiday season coming because, as you know, in December, our demand for water peaks. And if you look at it right now, we just don't have that kind of supply. So we are going to be looking at this seriously and try and see what measures we can put in place. But I am concerned about the forthcoming December period, especially given the consequences that it may have on the economy, given that we are a seasonal destination.
Now, if people from Gauteng are now having to take a decision whether they're going to come or not, what would your message be to them?
For now, I wouldn't want to spread alarm, but I think within the next few days it should come out clear where we stand on this matter. And then I think before we even try to issue any statements, we'll try to engage all the local stakeholders like your business association, tourism, and so on, and see how best we can deal with this matter.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.